I may delete all these fucked up videos.
I look like that kid Sid from Toy Story. When I have a ponytail in.
Welcome to the LB2 podcast. This is Bree. This is my mom. Let's go.
Hello, everyone.
I
don't even dare she.
Guten Tag.
Okay, what were we talking about now?
I don't want to say my lie.
What?
Nani?
I'm sorry?
What did you say?
Lie don't want to say my lie.
Okay, Handmaid's Tale. That's why we were doing a podcast today. Well, let's just talk. You guys, do you?
So, how long have you guys been following The Handmaid's Tale?
Season 1.
Well, we watched it when Trinity lived out in California before she moved. It was one of the things we watched every week. And then when she moved away and I moved in here, I didn't get to watch it every week. And I finally
Well, season 2 came out while I was moving. So when season 2, I didn't watch season 2 until about 6 months after it had aired. And then by the time I got caught up on it, season 3 was releasing weekly. And so I watched it as season 3 came out. I watched those episodes as they came out after catching up on season 2.
Hmm.
So this show is crazy insane. The whole idea that this group of people can take over such a large population and make it into this structured new civilization.
It's also based off a book.
Mm-hmm.
It is, yes.
It's also based off a book. Okay, I can hear you. Why are we silent? There we go.
Oh, sorry. I haven't followed it from season 1 entirely. When I started watching season 2 with my mom, scratch that. My mom likes to watch Netflix during the night when she's supposed to be awake, because she works nights. And when I was living with her, she would watch Handmaid's Tale and fall asleep and have to rewind it constantly. So I would watch bits and pieces of season 1. I started taking an interest in season 2 when I saw the end of season 1. And I watched a little more there, but it's been so long, so I don't entirely remember the entirety of the story, but I kind of remember why it started. I read up on it, and then season 3, I remember the names, the faces, and who got out, what's going on.
So season 1, which what I like is how it takes you back and forth, and because it brings you into this world and you're like, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. And I like how even into season 3, it's still taking you back, because I like how Serena Joy, if you follow it along, she was a writer. She was an activist for a lot of things that she believed in, women's rights and stuff. Mm-hmm. But now, because of Gilead, women don't have rights.
Right.
And all she wants is a child, because if I don't know if you remember the episode, in one of the episodes, she was giving a speech that turned into a riot and she was shot.
Yep, I remember that one.
And so she couldn't have children, but if you, as you fast forward, it's actually not her. She wasn't the reason she couldn't get pregnant. It was him. Because he had Handmaid and then he had Handmaid, and they weren't getting pregnant. It wasn't until she put Offred with Nick that they got a baby.
Yeah.
So in season 1, you know, I cried a lot in watching the show, because these women who are supposed to be really strong, and they are very strong, when you have a child and it's taken away, I couldn't imagine that. Like, I see people, and even the children's parents, their godmother is a surrogate. I could not imagine having a child in my womb for 9 months, delivering it, and then just letting it leave. There's so much attachment and bonding going on while that baby's cooking, that to give birth and then just let it leave.
That's just move on with it. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but I do have to say, I am totally like engrossed in the show, but I find it completely ridiculous that the wives go through the labor when the handmaids go through the labor. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really weird. I was really confused. Like, I kind of get it because they want to go through the experience, but you don't experience it if it's not, if you're not the one actually going through with it. I mean, there's secondhand experience. Sure, you can empathize and maybe if you have a child, you can empathize, but you're not the one feeling the pain. You're not the one delivering the child.
Right, and to watch them actually believe, and my thing is, like, do you really think that you're feeling these things? Are you wanting it so bad that you're pretending that you're feeling these things? There's no way. If you stub your toe, I know what that feels like. But I can't be here in labor in eternity. Oh, I'm having a contraction. Oh, yeah, I know exactly what that feels like. No, you don't. You've never had a child. Don't pretend. I just want to slap every one of them.
What did you think of the of Matthew arc? Because I thought that was weird that one of the handmaids would actually be okay and approving of the situation. And she seemed to completely like being a handmaid until this latest pregnancy where she eventually lost her life.
I did not appreciate how, like, okay with it she was, I guess, to put it in simple terms. She really frustrated me. After seeing all that and seeing how many women have lost their lives, struggling to even see their child, to stay with the same family, that's ridiculous. Just trying to make other women feel bad for having a child, then giving it away and then wanting to have a relationship with it. That's literally why we were made, was to procreate and take care of, raise a child, and create life and raise a life. You weren't supposed to just give it away for someone else to just do for you. Right. I don't know, it sounds kind of meh.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have, but have you guys seen any news on it lately, or like the season 4 trailer or any of that?
No, I have not. And the reason why is because, as you know, Eternity, the reason I like watching stuff on Netflix opposed to watching television is because, I'm sorry, Hulu, and Netflix too. Those platforms is because, opposed to television, I get so invested that at the end of an episode, I get so frustrated when I can't see the next one. I want to wait till the whole season is recorded and up there, and I want to watch it until it is done. I don't like cliffhangers.
Yeah.
But I also want to point out that a lot of the key architects of Gilead, if you noticed, are
women,
huge supporters of its downfall.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are women too, who are silenced and no longer allowed to read.
Yes. I really like, I keep going like this with Commander Lawrence because he's a main architect, but he does not like where things are at.
And he doesn't despise the system, but he's more than happy to look away when people are breaking the rules.
He also helps people break the rule.
Mm-hmm.
But now that his wife is dead, what's going to happen?
Right.
Yeah.
But even with his wife dead, he's still, from what I got from the season 4 trailer, which, based off of the season 4 trailer, it sounds like June's gonna die or be killed because Commander Lawrence is talking about June's legacy in the trailer. and talking about how saving as many kids from Gilead as possible is her legacy. And trying to find Hannah and get her back to Luke is her legacy.
I don't think they can kill her off. I mean, maybe they will.
But the actress had even, I remember a couple days ago seeing something on Twitter. I guess the actress had said something that made the fans believe that they actually were going to kill her off.
It would be a very bold choice, and actresses, main actors and actresses often agree to that or want that. That way they can move on with other projects or just finish with the project just in general. I think it would be a bold choice, but I think that even if that's the end of the series, I feel like it just wouldn't be the same unless they really put a lot more into it.
Yeah, because you need that strong role, and that's what she is.
But look at it this way. Do you need the strong role pushing it, or would you benefit more from a martyr? Which is essentially what it sounds like they're going to do to her, is they're going to make her a martyr.
I feel like
I don't think that I don't think that they're going to have longevity in this show if you lose her.
I don't think so either. I feel like they're only going to carry, her. I feel like they're going to carry the idea of her on only so far, and then people are just going to lose interest because they'll either realize that's the end of the show, or it's just kind of dragging out like the finale of I don't know. Words are escaping me today. It's just going to feel like a finale that's dragged off into a whole season is what it's going to feel like if they kill her off, to me.
I will say, I was really happy when Fred got arrested in Canada, but I was upset when Serena got arrested, which I know is kind of unfair. But the way I look at Serena is she wants to do what's best for her daughter, but as everyone does, she has flaws, and her biggest flaw... She doesn't have a daughter! Shh! Let me finish! Her biggest flaw is she's selfish, so she wants to be part of her daughter's life. And yes, she may not be biologically her mother, but in Serena's head, that is her daughter. And June saying that her giving up Nicole was the greatest sacrifice a mother could make implied that June also sees Serena as partly her mother.
She said that so that she could escape, because if she didn't give Serena that reassurance that this is your child, she wasn't going to let her leave.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt.
Right. And when it comes to Serena, I think that she's only in it for a child, like I said in the beginning. That's all she's ever wanted. That's the only thing that she's never going to have. And I love that she got arrested because of the fact that you set your husband up. Your husband, when you get married, and okay, yes, people have been divorced a couple times. I make bad choices.
They were kind of separated at the time. Well, she was playing him to get back with him and all this stuff, but she had kind of separated from him. She only went back to him because her mother made her.
Yes. And she used him and his power to get back to Canada to get her baby. And when he got arrested and he didn't, I was like, okay, that makes sense. She didn't really do anything wrong. She's a victim too. But then when she got arrested and they said what she was arrested for, I was like, oh my gosh, they were absolutely right. Good job. I was so happy she got arrested. Because she was so instrumental in all of that. And don't forget that when Offred was pregnant and had that false labor, she was so embarrassed. What did she do? Do you guys remember?
Mm-mm.
She had her husband, Fred.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Rape Offred. Because when you're that far along in your pregnancy and the baby's just not wanting to come, one of the things to do is to have sex. The more sex you have, the baby will come faster. So she's like, and she held her down. And Offred was fighting them both. Like, that's not okay. That's wrong. Like, I mean, the whole thing's wrong to begin with.
Yeah.
But you went a step above and beyond because you wanted that baby so bad. You couldn't wait for the natural course.
She wanted Alfred out of her house more than anything at that point. I don't even think it was about the baby anymore. She just wanted Alfred gone.
Yeah, that too.
But
okay, so
the thing I want to see most in season 4 is because they kind of left us off with like a cliffhanger as far as Nick is concerned. Because we do know about his past a little bit, but the Swiss made it sound like Nick was a lot more valuable to the situation than possible. Huh?
Instrumental,
yeah. Because from his backstory, what we see is he was struggling for a job, but the way the Swiss make it sound is he knew exactly what he was doing. He got his pick of jobs. And he was probably as important as Commander Lawrence was. And now June's like, well who the fuck
even Serena mentions to June, because June asks her, what was Nick's job? And she said he was instrumental in the Crusades. And I'd really like to see in the fourth season, the Crusade.
See, but at that point, I thought Serena was just saying that to piss off Alfred. I didn't think that she was being truthful.
And she might not have, but so we've seen how the women lost their money, how they lost their jobs, how they were taken captive, and then that was kind of it. And we've seen the airports where they weren't allowed to leave and stuff, but we haven't really seen the mass crusades. Like, there's so much more there. And there's so much more with Nick. Like, I was really surprised because I truly feel that Nick loves June. I really feel that. And for him to betray her to the Swiss, there's a reason there. So when Serena tells June he was instrumental in the Crusades, I want to know, what did he do? What kind of man is he really? Does he not love and care for June and his child like I feel he does, how he's portrayed himself? Because I've watched the behind the scenes and stuff like that, and it even goes into he loved her. So what made him not support her in that?
Mm-hmm. I think he loved her up until she refused to leave. And then ever since then, their interactions, to me, he seems very distant, like he's only doing what he is obligated to do by the laws of Gilead. I don't feel like he loved her anymore.
But you can't really fall in and out of love with somebody like that. That's not what love is.
It doesn't also happen that fast. It happens over a lengthy period of time. It's not like one day you love somebody and then like next week it's like, I don't love them anymore. Fuck them.
Well, and also Nick is at this point where he knows he's going to the front line, so he's about to die. So if he really loved her, and he knows he was about to die, he would have sided with her over Gilead. So
right, which is why
why didn't he side with Alfred?
And that's why I'm like, you need to investigate that more. You need to show us more of that. I want to see that. And then I also want to see more of oh my gosh, I can't even think of their names. The lesbian couple that are finally reunited.
Oh, like Emily.
Emily. I understand that she's been through a lot and she's out now. I don't understand why it's so hard for her to reconnect with her wife.
She's connecting with Moira because they have that shared history. They went through the same stuff. So she has someone she can confide into. But she can't connect to her wife because her wife was able to get away free. So she can't even begin to understand what she's been through while her wife has been here raising their son.
Right. Yeah. Even though her wife understands, like when Emily's like confessing to all the crimes that she'd committed in Gilead, her wife is still like, like, what the fuck? Like, she did what she had to do. They raped her and, they fucking, they abused her. And
but there's
her
a
wife
difference between understanding and relating. And I feel like what Emily needs to help her get over the trauma is someone that can relate to her and show her that they're doing well after they did all this stuff still. So I think that's why she's bonding so much with Moira, because Moira did some pretty bad shit too. But she's all going
Yeah.
on living her life, so I think she's looking at Moira as a way to help her pass the trauma and eventually to reconnect with her wife and her son.
That's
I
where I was
really
going.
liked it when her and Emily and Moira were talking, and Emily had said, you know, I killed people, and Moira said, well, have you killed anybody since you've been out? And she said, no. And she goes, well, you're gonna be okay then. You know, that's not you. You're not a murderer. You did what you had to do in the situation you were in.
Right.
It doesn't define you, you know. But I have to tell you, I cried when that little girl got off that plane and asked the lady, "Is this where we can wear whatever we want?" That broke my
Or
heart.
be whoever we want, I think is what she asked.
No, watch it again.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch the last season. I just watched a recap because it's been so long since I watched it. So I watched an hour-long recap today to get
I watched the full season. You can't watch the recap if I watched the full season.
But I had already watched it all, Bree.
Oh, then that's fair. I thought you meant like you hadn't.
You just said you didn't watch it.
I watched all of season 3 as it came out. So I was done watching season 3 the day the last episode aired.
Last year.
So I didn't want to go back and just rewatch it all because I knew I'd be distracted, not focused. So I watched an hour-and-a-half long recap to just remind me and refresh my mind of things.
An hour-and-a-half long recap? That's a long-ass recap.
Well, I wanted to cover
3 hours, a half hour, or 3 seasons, a half hour for each. That's about right.
Okay.
So we lost a lot of handmaids and children at the end of season 3. So I'm interested to see how season 4 is going to start. Oh, what I was going to say. I was so freaked out when season 2 started and they had all of the handmaids in the...
Oh, the nooses?
That scared me. I'm like, how are you going to hang all the people that you need?
I think about that often. I'm like, wow. I'm like, if all the handmaids are Belle, I'm sure they would get a good chunk of them and maybe, you know, like, try and, like, reform the rest of them. But, like,
but
like,
they can only do so much before they would do, like, they did to them. They can only do so much before they take drastic measures like they did in the Capitol where they sewed their handmaids' mouths shut and made them wear the face coverings.
That scared me. I can't handle macabre and I can't handle like gruesome stuff like that. Even just that simple stuff like turned my stomach and gave me a headache.
I couldn't believe they did that. I was so proud of June when she killed that man. Oh, I was praising. I was screaming in the bedroom. The boys were like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Don't come in."
And he had the audacity to say, "Please, I have a family." When he has 6 kids.
Right.
And then his wife is concerned. They're gonna take away several of my kids because I don't have a husband now.
Yeah, you know what? They're not yours anyways. Yeah, they live so. So I thought Gilead, what we've been watching was bad enough, and then you go to Washington D.C. or Washington,
and
wherever
to see what
they
did to
were.
The monuments.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so different. They're so much
and then the Washington Memorial. Although this is probably gonna come out wrong, but I'm glad they didn't destroy the Washington Monument. They just added more to turn it into a cross. Because I mean, that can be fixed.
That was the initial one.
But to completely behead Abraham Lincoln, I was pissed when I saw that one.
He was the head, or he was a very iconic, or he was like the head of like anti-slavery. So I see why they did it, and they're completely wrong for it. But at the same time, that would be an icon of hope. It helps support their
message. So I get why they did
that. That is an icon of hope.
Yeah.
An icon of hope, 100%.
Yeah, I don't justify it, but I understand why they did it.
Yeah. So crazy.
Rather than destroying it, yeah.
But see, when I
kind of felt was a little... Sorry, go ahead. No, you go first.
I was just going to say, when I was watching them in the Capitol, it just made me think, imagine what it would be like in Stockton if this actually happened. How bad the handmaids would be treated then.
Even they wouldn't touch Stockton. I feel like Stockton's own part of the U.S. still.
Stockton would be the colonies. And the colonies are pretty bad. And that's what I was going to say. Season 2 was really kind of boring for me. And I'm not really sure why.
It was really slow.
The colonies were so horrible. And they were treated so badly in such a different way. And that's really all we've got in season 2. Besides that, when you did see June, she was alone in that newspaper building.
Mm-hmm. It was a very slow season for season 2. But season 3 came back and it was just like one thing after another.
Yeah, and I didn't even think they were going to get out. They were so close. And then when and so when it ended and she gets shot, like they're in the cover of night trying to get to the airport. And she gets shot. And then you see the handmaids come and take her away. And it's daylight. That's why I don't feel she dies. Because she's still alive when they drag her away. I
don't think she's going to die there. I think she's going to die My prediction is she's going to die in episode 2 of season 4. And I think she's going to be...
And you may be right.
I think they're going to hang her, but I think they're going to do it behind closed doors to try and prevent her from becoming a martyr.
That would be a way to end her. That would be a way.
I was glad we actually got to start seeing Aunt Lydia's background, but once we saw that, it made everything that I saw of her being sympathetic towards the handmaids in the season irrelevant, because I knew that while she's sympathetic now, she's not going to be sympathetic when it comes down to crunch time or picking a side. She's going to isolate these girls and make them miserable no matter what, because she feels it's pretty women's fault that she didn't succeed in life before all this happened.
I don't get that. I don't think I agree with that. I think I need to see more of Aunt Lydia's background because I'm still not understanding why she works for the other side. I kind of feel like she should be against it from what I've seen.
I understand why she does, because when her backstory, she sees these kids every day, and then there's this one kid who is in a bad home. His mom is doing everything she can to help him out, but she keeps giving in to temptation. She's sleeping with somebody that is married. She is fucking up at work, and then she's trying to make Aunt Lydia into a similar kind of person when there's people out there that have been trying for years to have kids and they can't, and they can provide and take care of them, so this little boy doesn't go hungry instead of needing Aunt Lydia to feed him. So I understand, in my head, Aunt Lydia kind of wants all kids to thrive and not have to struggle for anything, so this system kind of provides it, because there's only kids going to people that can afford to take care of them and have the time and patience to nurture and help them grow as a person. So I think that's why she sided with Gilead, but I don't think she approved of the treatment of the handmaids at first, but after being attacked by June and Emily, I feel like now she has been embarrassed, just like she was in her backstory with the principal, and I feel she wants to retaliate and take it out on these women.
How did the handmaids how were they selected? Was it just how did the hierarchy of women begin? Because I didn't watch that.
By women that could get pregnant and have children.
Oh, but it doesn't really go into it, because if you actually look at it, when June asks how many of these handmaids have children in Gilead, there was only 54. Mm-hmm. And there are way more handmaids than that. So I would be interested to find out as well. How do you... Huh?
I believe they say it's that they have their medical records, and they have there's tests to tell which women can carry and which can't. And so the ones that couldn't carry became Martha's. Huh?
I'd like to know what kind of test that would be, because just because you ovulate doesn't mean you can have a baby. Just because you can get pregnant doesn't mean you can carry to term. And especially in this setting, there was a lot of women who could get pregnant, but they weren't carrying the babies to term. Like, if this actually happened, I would be in the colonies. I can't make babies. I can't cook.
I'd probably be
I'll
there
share my
too. I
cooking
haven't
with
had a
you.
period in 6 months.
Oh, right.
Bree would be too. You're too tiny to.
Fuck, probably I've had many a person tell, like my aunt, my mom, a lot of people tell me. But I've also seen, actually my aunt's, my aunt's eldest daughter has had 2 children, and she has a thinner frame than I. She's taller and way thinner than I am, and she's had 2 children. But yeah, I'd probably put colonies.
I've seen smaller people than you be pregnant, and they look so damn cute because they're so tiny, and then they got this really huge belly. It's super cute, and then it's disgusting because after they have the baby, they go right back, whatever. But it has a lot to do with the father that you choose. Because like Aunt Brandy, she's slender like Bree, and Brennan's father's a big guy. We were concerned for, when she had Brennan because Brian's so big. You're like, oh my gosh, you can be able to push that baby out. But she did it.
My dad is 6'3" and really, really, really scrawny. And then my mom, she's shorter than me. She's like 5'4", 5'5", and I think, no, I wasn't her only natural, but maybe I was. But my mom's had 5 kids, and she said after me, I did the most damage. Like, I really stretched her out. But my mom
look like you could cause damage.
My mom said that she had a very similar frame to me, that she didn't really gain weight, that she was about my height, maybe a little more meat on me than I do now. And she said that after me, her body just never went back. So I could be the very same way. I might not bounce back, and it might
after eternity. Really my body never went back.
I think that would hit me really hard. I would have to learn to accept that, because I've been pretty much anorexic my whole life. I was underweight, and then I hit a healthy weight sophomore and junior year, and then ever since then I've been what I am, except for now because I've been eating more.
Yeah.
But there's always, you give and you get. You want a child, you give up your body for that, whether it goes back to the same way before or not.
Yeah, that's true. And these women in Gilead give up a lot to have a baby.
Oh yes.
They give up the right to read, to write.
I will say, I think my favorite moment from season 3 was when, what's her name? Crazy one-eyed chick. What's her name?
Fuck.
Janine.
Janine. When June is in the hospital with her, of Matthew, and June is losing it, wanting to kill somebody, when Janine was, for the first time ever, the voice of reason. That was probably my favorite moment from season 3, is when Janine was telling June no.
That blew me away. Yeah.
And then to find out that the doctor working, trying to keep of Matthew's baby alive, was friends with June's mom, that was even crazier to me.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that was crazy.
And I think it's because he was friends with June's mom that he didn't report June to the authorities for having the suicidal thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing, it's harsh, man. It's really harsh.
I can't believe that more men don't have sympathy. Like, I understand, sure, the way your new society works is, things are the way they are. The men are the men of the house. Your women, the women of the house are supposed to do womanly things like take care of the children, raise them, cook, clean, not like read and take care of business and handle, a country or whatever. But I was really surprised that they weren't super lenient. Like when Fred let Serena drive the car, I was like, that's cool. I would like to see more of that, rather than like the women actually being Gilead women, where they're just taking care of children. Like,
well, I mean, she read that book and he had her finger cut off.
Yeah, that was.
She did that in public.
That was cool.
Because he was more willing to let Serena bend the rules behind closed doors, but in public, he had no choice.
But when he was injured in that bombing, she signed his name to documents when he got better and got out, he whooped her ass, literally, for betraying him because she let Offred Reed write, and they signed documents and submitted them to get help for Janine's baby. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch that.
But I think that was more of a...
Janine's baby was sick, and they needed a doctor, and the only doctor that could help him happened to be a female doctor who was a Martha. So they signed paperwork in Fred's name saying that this Martha can go to that hospital and take care of the baby. He comes back home and he finds out that the baby's fine now because of this. And so he tells her to bend over this chair, takes off his belt, and whips her with it because she defied the laws of Gilead.
But I think that was more of a reaction to being afraid that other commanders would investigate and find out that she forged it. So I think it was more of a reaction to being afraid that his wife
was behind closed doors.
But it was just an instinct reaction to his fear. I don't think he thought about it. I think he just reacted because he was scared. And, like, you just could have killed us both because of this.
Maybe.
I think that was more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it was out of spite, because despite his many, many, many flaws, he does seem to truly love Serena, from what I was understanding, at least until he turned her in. I literally thought that he did love his wife.
He loves Serena, but he also loves his power.
And the fact that she turned him in to begin with after she had made it seem like things were okay or starting to be okay, and the fact that she still wanted she wanted the child back and she wanted a family with him, and then betrayed him like that. I don't think people should do that. I don't think it should ever be like that, where one person turns the other in and then they go at each other like that. That's just it's so vicious. Like, my dad's like that almost. Like, if he's ever turned in, he always rats someone out. He will rat many a person out to save his hide, and I don't respect people like that.
Yeah, if I'm going down, you're going down with me type of an attitude.
Yeah, so also, I didn't respect Serena or Fred in that case.
Yeah.
I found it really interesting because I'm not very good on laws and politics and stuff like that, but they had already granted Serena asylum for everything she did in Gilead. But then once Fred told them about that, her asylum was lifted, but I didn't think that was how asylum worked.
She didn't get asylum for everything she did in Gilead. You have to go back and actually listen to what she got asylum for. It was her participation in Gilead.
The creation of Gilead.
Right, but what she did was she forced June and Nick to have sex. That's what she was arrested for. That's the only thing she was arrested for.
See, but Serena's really smart. I feel like she's going to be able to word her way out of that and say, like, this was covered under the agreement we made. Because this was part of how Gilead operates.
But it wasn't, because she took her handmaid out of her home and, quote-unquote, forced her to have sex with somebody else. And she even tried to plead. They were in love. They already had a relationship. I allowed them to do that, trying to make it look like I gave her what she wanted. They wanted to have a sexual relationship, and I gave that to her. And he's like, no, you wanted a baby. You forced that to happen. You're arrested.
That part confused me because I didn't watch that, and I thought that she meant what happened between her and Fred when she had forced that, when they were forcing her. I thought that's what she meant because, all that context and stuff. I was like, oh, see, then that makes sense after you said that. But now that makes sense, the whole Nick thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because anything that happened between her, Offred, and Fred was all covered under Gilead.
Well, yeah, because even though she was already pregnant and it wasn't to conceive a child, the act of holding her down while the husband has sex with her, that's covered under the Gilead agreement that they had, that she can't be prosecuted for that.
Okay, that makes sense now.
It's hot here.
What did you guys think of all the Handmaids and Marthas coming back to help June at the end of season 3?
Well, it was just the handmaids that came back.
Okay, let me just hold on. So here's the thing. I get so frustrated with June because she keeps getting opportunities to get out, and she doesn't fucking leave. I love my children. I love my children's friends. I will be there to help anybody anytime I can because I love people. Now, I love my children. If
Wait, hang on. I'm gonna call bullshit there. Your catchphrase is "I hate all people equally."
Yeah, shut up. If Bree
You're not people, you're her children.
Yeah, if Bree and Eternity both had cut themselves, same depth, same finger, bleeding the same, I'm gonna take my daughter to the hospital first, and then I'll come back for Bree. If I had to choose.
Yeah.
Well, you can throw.
If I had to choose, because that's my daughter. Just listen to me. Just listen. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I can do. Now, if I can't do it there, I'm not gonna stay there. Because every minute I'm there, it's gonna break me down. It might kill me, physically, literally kill me. It could hurt me. It could incapacitate me in a way that I'm not going to be able to be the mom that I need to be for my children who are so small. I feel, and it wouldn't make for a good story, I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But June needs to get the hell out and figure out how to get her child. You don't know where she is. You can't get to her anyways, and you're right there.
Okay, but she doesn't know that Hannah is gone. They just know that the family that had her hasn't been heard from. They could be just hiding in a forest somewhere. But also, if she goes to Canada, how is she going to find out? How is she going to get her daughter back? Canada has no say over Gilead politics.
Well, I think that maybe she could round up... I don't know how war and all this stuff works and all that, but what if she, instead of staying in Gilead and doing the stuff she did, what if she had went to Canada, rounded up some people with or without Moira and Emily and Luke, and, got a team that was, willing to continue to recruit more and more people and then, take it to Canada where they go and fight and try and liberate children. And yeah, that's invoking war, but the countries already hate each other. They're already on the brink of war, and they could save children. And the families in Gilead aren't going to kill their children, so Canada can't have them. They're just going to try and hide them and keep them close.
Right. See, but Canada has already said that they will offer asylum to anyone from Gilead that is escaping, but they will not openly go out against them. So if people start trying to create a rebellion within Canada, their government is going to shut it down because they're not supporting that. They don't want that message out there because they don't want Gilead to come after them because they've already made it clear that Gilead's forces are stronger than anything that they could put together.
Yeah, even in underground.
But at the end of season 1, or the beginning of season 2, I can't remember which episode it is, June is very, very pregnant, and she gets to see Hannah. And Hannah tells, and she says, baby, Mama tried. I tried to find you. And I couldn't, sweetie. And Hannah tells her, you should have tried harder. And as a mom, that hurts. Oh my gosh. She's just a child. She doesn't understand. And she won't understand until she
there's no way she could comprehend every little detail.
Right. Mm-hmm. So here's my thing. Your child is already angry at you for what you've done. Every time you come into your child's life now, that child is going to be more resentful towards you because you weren't there for her. You didn't save her when she needed to be saved. So what's best for the child actually? Is it that you are in her life? Is it that you get her back? Or is it that you let her live the best life she can have? Granted, she needs to be out of Gilead because she doesn't need to live that life.
Right.
But you don't go get that child until you know you can take her away.
Right, because then you could be running through the woods with dogs and soldiers after you, and
like you lost her the first time.
Right, or they could end up firing for some reason, and then your daughter's just completely gone. Misfire, or you could lose both your daughter's life, or hurt her, or
But I think in June's head, she loves her daughter. She wants what's best for her daughter, but she sees Gilead as this awful, vile place. To where, in her head, I think June believes her daughter is better off dead than in Gilead.
I would agree with that. Because as a mom, I would feel the same way. Like, I would rather my daughter be dead than to have to live that way.
Thanks, Mom.
Because it's a horrible existence. That's not life. That's control.
That's because, in that, I feel like in that type of lifestyle, you're not even a person. You're literally just a step to...
You're an object.
Yeah, you're just a step to the next, you're basically raising a child to take your place in life, which, I mean, we sort of do, but not to that extremity where you aren't a person. You literally just raise a child so they can raise a child, so they can raise a child. You're not allowed to do anything with your life except raise that child to raise another child. You can never do anything with your life aside from that. And once you're done raising, then you're pretty much just there.
Well, like that one girl, I can't remember her name, but Nick's wife. She was raised to be a wife so that she could have a child. Mm-hmm. So that they could, just like what you had said. And look what happened to her. She fell in love with somebody who wasn't her husband. And when it was time for her to repent, say you're sorry, say you're not going to do it anymore, she said, no, I can't betray my heart. And her and that guy, they were drowned. Like, okay, well, you don't want to repent. You don't want to repent. Bye. That was like, wow. How much more, where's your importance of having childbearing people or people who follow the rules? Because here was a woman who was childbearing age, who could possibly bring 10, 15 children into the world, but because she didn't follow the rules, goodbye.
I could not ever see living in a world that imposes something like that on you. If I were in the Handmaid's world, I wouldn't be in that world. They would have killed me. They would have offed me to start with.
No, you'd be in the colony. They need people in the colonies.
Probably sewing you up like the Emily.
Down the drain.
I
would have found a way. I would have found a way.
So to answer your question, Eternity, the handmaids that came to her aid at the end and carried her away?
Yes.
Where'd they come from? Who were they? How'd they know she was there? Why were there no guards?
All the handmaids knew that what was going on, because the handmaids are the ones that told their Marthas, and the Marthas then sent the muffins. So the handmaids knew what was going down. At least June's inner circle knew what was going down, when it was going down, how it was going down. So all it took for them was to try and slip out. And the Marthas weren't going to stop them, and the commander and his wife were probably sleeping at that time. So it just took the Marthas to let them out to get there to go help her.
But how did they know she needed help?
Well, if you're in this situation, you know what's happening, when it's happening, and why it's happening. Are you going to sit at home? Even if they don't actually need help. You're not going to sit your ass at home. You're going to go and see if there's anything that you can still do, even though they're like, hey, no, we don't need help.
Because as far as they're concerned, that plane should have been gone.
It's called initiative.
You know what I mean? Oh.
Initiative.
That's a $3 word.
Do you know the definition?
My Alexa device doesn't even know what that word means.
You don't know what that word means. But yeah, well, even if Well, the plane took off exactly when it was supposed to take off. So even if they weren't coming to help, at least they were coming to see their hard work paying off and all these children getting out free and safe.
Yeah.
And it would have just been rewarding enough to know I broke the rules. Even if I don't get away with this, there's my legacy going off.
Mm-hmm.
I did something good with my life.
I was blown away by how many children showed up.
Right, they had only said it was going to be like 10, 15, and it turned out to be 54. Was it 54?
52 or 54.
No, there was only supposed to be 54, but it ended up being over 100. Did you guys not watch the show?
Are you sure it was over 100? I thought it was 50.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, hang on. No, I'm pretty sure only 52 got out. Hang on. Let me just Google this right here.
I would ask Alexa, but she's stupid. I don't know why you laugh. You must not have one.
No, I am the Alexa of the household.
Who is ruined dog goddess Zihalaha?
It's free.
Me.
Oh, we have a fan in chat. So on the Hulu account, is God Goddess you?
No, I think that's her friends.
Oh.
Wait, who?
God and Goddess on your Hulu account.
Okay, yeah. That's my friends Hades and Persephone. Yeah, she got 52 children out of Gilead.
Maybe your mom was seeing double that day. Maybe it was 100 to her.
Oh, hang on.
And how many Marthas?
More than 50 children made it out of Gilead. So it doesn't actually give a number. They just say more than 50.
We'll say 100.
There was a lot of kids in that room.
That plane was full.
On that plane.
Yeah.
It was packed full.
And you have to also take into account that plane didn't have seats. You know how many bodies you can put in a plane without seats?
Hella.
And you had Marthas on that plane too, and you had handmaids on that plane too.
See, and that scene for me wasn't just about them escaping and all everything the Handmaid's Tale. That scene always makes me think of the kids, because we're told that these kids are happy in their houses. But if all these kids came willingly and obeyed what they were told by these people saving them, there's something going on behind closed doors that we don't know about. Because if they're so happy, why would they willingly keep their mouth shut, follow down this path instead of trying to run back home?
Or scream out when they're told to be quiet.
And not a single child did. If they were so happy in their life, they would. Especially those young kids, you know they'd be screaming and trying to get someone's attention to come save them.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I always think about when I see that scene.
I was surprised none of the babies cried. That was impressive.
Well, so I agree. The babies were able to keep the babies quiet, and I don't know if it's because the women want these babies so bad, but yet the Marthas take care of them. Mm-hmm. So they have this bond with their Marthas, which is why they didn't cry, in my opinion, is because when they're scared or whatever, they're in the arms of people they trust and they love, therefore they don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also felt
so
like
it's ironic that we want these babies so bad. What?
I also think that the Marthas, because they were prepping before all this happened, I think the Marthas gave the children something to help them sleep through it. All the little ones that they had to carry.
Makes sense.
Because they're sitting there and they're prepping food all fucking day. I assume they put something in it for the babies. That's what I assumed anyway. It wasn't that they felt comforted or whatever. It's that they were sleeping. That's why I think the children were silent.
That would definitely make it easy.
And they're so familiar, to help with your case, they're so familiar with these Marthas that they're comfortable sleeping in their arms.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in season 4. I'd really like to see more of Nick's story. We have a brief background of him. He just really couldn't find a job. He was from job to job, and then Gilead had hit, and now he, has a very prominent role. But I want to see how far that role actually goes. I'd like to see where Emily's going to end up.
Have you guys watched the trailer? It's only like 15 seconds, I believe. Let's see if I can pull it up on my phone.
No, I haven't watched the trailer. What's that going to do for us?
I don't know if I'm gonna watch it. I don't like to watch trailers of stuff anymore. I like to just see it when I see it. Is that weird?
A minute and 31 seconds.
That's a lot different than 15 seconds.
That's a minute and 15.
That was the Dead by Daylight trailer. My bad. Here, let me.
That's a minute 16 different.
Let me put it up so you guys can understand what I was talking about.
I have no perception of time, but that was bad. No, I don't want to watch it.
My daughter deserves better. We all deserve better. Change never comes easy. This war isn't going to win itself. All those children.
Sorry, Bree.
Legacy, which changed me, changed you. She does have strong claws now. It's not safe anywhere. We should all just leave. These women deserve to be out. But I can't do this alone. Must be the squad. She is out there planning who knows what kind of atrocities to visit upon our righteous nation. I never allowed myself to see her for what she clearly is, beyond redemption. What happens in the next few weeks will determine the future of this country. We're just getting started.
Okay, so after watching that, I do not think she's going to die anytime soon. Number 2, I think there's a massive rebellion coming. And number 3, you showed me something that I was going to talk about that I completely forgot. I was so angry at June for assisting, or whatever you want to call it, in the death of Commander Lawrence's wife. I can understand why she allowed it to happen, but that made me so sad, because she was such a good woman.
Right, but the evaluation videos, because I watched a lot after season 3 was end, a lot of the evaluation videos felt the same way I did. Commander Lawrence's wife, Eleanor, knew that because of her conditions, her medical issues that she was having, she was going to be detrimental to their cause, and she wanted more than anything to save these children. That's why she overdosed. June, who had already started building this friendship with her, understood that this is what Eleanor was thinking, and if June has any chance of getting these children out, she has to let Eleanor go.
Okay, I understand that. I don't like it.
You may not like it, but if Eleanor had lived, those children wouldn't have made it to Canada. She had already blown their cover several times.
But I don't like it.
You don't have to like it, but that's the fact of the matter.
I don't like
it. I will say that scene in the trailer where she's wearing the black, usually that's what they wear for someone important's funeral, like Eleanor's, whatever. But I think in that case, because it's just her and Commander Lawrence in that shot, and they're in an open field, I think that is when June's gonna die. I think after she recovers from the bullet, that she has a private execution with just a few people from Gilead to prevent her from being a martyr.
I disagree.
I don't see it.
We'll see who's right. When does season 4 start?
June 20, just 2021 next year comes out. What? 2021.
2021.
Yes.
21.
Next year.
That's a very large window.
Well, considering COVID happened this year, I don't imagine they've had time to film everything, especially since the trailer had a lot of like screenshots and scenes from previous seasons. I don't know if you noticed that.
I did.
I don't think they've got to film a lot of it because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID, man.
Because if they had been able to, I imagine this would be coming out. They'd be editing everything now. The filming would be completely done, and we'd probably be getting it January 2021.
Well, they got all the handmaids wearing masks. I think it's safe enough to record right now.
Right? Come on, people, they're already wearing masks.
Yeah, but don't most states prohibit the amount of gathering more than 7 people? And you want to have hundreds of thousands of handmaids together?
Just Photoshop them. We got green screens. Just do 1 row of 10, and then, green screen it, and then have another row of 10. Just have 10 people at a time. You're not breaking any rules.
So I recently found out that the masks that we had bought were the worst masks that you could possibly be wearing.
What kind of mask did you buy?
Because I bought gators.
You bought what?
Because I bought gators.
Gators. I don't know what that is.
Gators.
Are they the ones that filter?
No, type in Gaiter, gator.
That's effort. Why can't you just show us? Where's your mask at?
Yeah, where is your mask? You should have it on hand.
Oh, okay, hold on.
You're on a tablet. It's not like you're on a computer like the rest of us. Oh, great ceiling. Start counting the dots.
There's so much tape on the ceiling because when we went to go yank a string down, the tape wouldn't come down. So there's like 30 to 40 pieces of tape on the ceiling.
What did you guys have taped?
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
She acts like it's a big reveal.
Gator.
That's not a mask. That's like a. What is that?
It's a ski mask.
Naruto covering thing.
They're called gators.
Oh, funny story. So there's this bank near there's this bank near where my mom and my brothers live, and they implemented the mandatory masks like a couple days after I got to Oregon. So like yeah, like
they hadn't had the mask rule until you got there.
They didn't have to wear their masks in every building until like after I got there. Once I got there, my mom is like, "Oh yeah, you have to have your mask to go in the stores, to go in the library, to go anywhere." And I was like, it's like I had to wear it throughout the entire airport from the time I entered the airport until I got into Oregon and left the airport. That was a long time to suffocate. I couldn't take it off on the airline or anything. I was like, I can't do this every single damn day. Anyway, so my brother was telling me we were walking to the gas station, like from where my mom lives. I wanted a lemonade, and my brother told me, he's like, "So this bank got robbed the other day," and I was like, "That's unfortunate." And he's like, "No, here's the funny thing is they were wearing a mask, right?" And I was like, "Uh-huh." And he's like, "That's what's funny is they were wearing a mask." I was like, "You're stupid." And he's like, "Yeah, they're not making people pull their masks down to verify." And like, I guess now they are, so that way, like they can see your face.
Ours don't.
Well, because
and it's weird going into a bank asking for money with a mask on.
Right, but now everyone has to wear masks. So now the banks in, at least near where my mom lived, they're making it you pull down your mask. So that way, if you do rob a bank, they know what your face looks like. And if you're not willing, well, then you're probably going to go. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's funny. I don't have to wear my mask at work. It's a personal choice. We have to wear them when we go to the grocery store or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. So I bought a box of the
do you have a ghost body? So what the fuck was that?
Who?
Other way. Oh, it's a jacket.
I went on Amazon and I tried to get some of the N95s.
Mm-hmm.
And here's my thing. If I can't buy them, why are you showing me they're for sale? Because you click on it to buy it and it says, unless you are a first responder, you cannot buy this. And it doesn't even let me like put in my credentials or anything if I was. And so that pissed me off. But it's like they're first responder grade. They're just not certified. So they're the 3-ply. So I bought a box of 50 for like $20.
Your office doesn't have them out at their door or anything? Because I know, maybe it's because Texas isn't technically under quarantine or lockdown anymore. But when we get into the building, we have to have our temperature taken. And if we aren't wearing a mask, they have a box there and they hand them to you. But it's more the hospitals that takes our temperature. So there's a hospital representative in our building at all times at the door waiting to take temperatures and give out masks.
No, we don't get our temperature taken. Nothing like that. In fact, with this social distancing, I mean, distance learning with the schools, we've lost a lot of employees because they can't come to work because nearly everybody has school-age children, that PacMed is flirting with the idea. They'll let everybody know by Wednesday of doing a distance learning module in the auditorium, which means bring your children to work, and they'll have somebody in the auditorium supervising, and the kids will do their distance learning while you're at work.
Okay, instead of let's all work from home to distance ourselves more, which is what my company did, let's bring more potential COVID people in so we can all get sick together.
And we're a family.
But then would they make masks mandatory, or would they still be optional in that case? Because
children will be required to wear masks and get their temperature taken every day. The children.
Well, the auditorium is pretty big, to be fair.
Yeah, and the children will be socially distanced. I did put myself on the list. So they had originally emailed about a month ago and said, who is going to have an issue if schools don't open? And I originally emailed and said, no, I don't got an issue. I'll be able to come to work every day. But I emailed them a couple days ago and I said, originally I told you guys I was not going to have an issue. But now that school has started, my significant other is starting to lose work because Isaiah's in school from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. He's losing jobs. So this social distancing in the auditorium schooling program would actually work for us, but we don't need it every day. We would need it on a drop-in basis type thing, and it's
how is
completely
that gonna
free.
work? Are they gonna like hire a teacher, or are they gonna get special Wi-Fi for the kids so that they can have like? Because I think a lot of the learning is on a computer or whatever. So are they just gonna have Wi-Fi for the kids so they can have their computer up, or are they just gonna hire like a teacher?
So the kids have to be on their tablets. They have their teachers through the school. I don't know what credentialing the person that they're going to have in the auditorium is going to be. I know that it's going to be supervision in case they have any questions while they're on their devices. They will be supervised during lunches. They'll get breaks. And then once the school's over, they'll do activities and watch movies until... Because my thing was, okay, he gets out of school at 1:30. I don't get off work till 5. Well, you can't send him to my desk. No, we'll have movies and activities and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay.
That's cool that they're doing that, though.
That is cool.
And I like that it's free because Manteca Parks and Recs is doing the same thing as Kids Zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 at night, which is the same thing as PacMed's doing. PacMed's going to offer it for free. Parks and Recs wants to charge $640 a month.
Damn.
I can't afford that.
Manteca's just greedy. Well,
yeah. Well,
this has been awesome, but it's time for us to wrap up.
Why?
Because
we're running over an hour.
Yeah, we're at.
Oh, is that how this works?
Well, usually the podcast I do about an hour and a half, but it's 6 o'clock my time. I haven't eaten dinner, so I need to go make something. And I have a video game. I have a date, so I also gotta go. So
she said, "I have a date." My family.
With me and your mom. You got a family date,
right?
See, I
thought I was important, but I guess I can call Anthony and tell him he can come home now.
Well, you kicked your boyfriend out of the house?
No, he left willingly.
Gosh.
Oh, Eternity, when you talk to Persephone and Hades, can you ask her if I could have her phone number? Because she lives so close to you if there's ever an emergency and I can't get a hold of you. I believe they're in chat. Huh?
I believe that they're in chat right now. At least I saw Hades.
Oh, well, then they probably heard me.
Well, I don't think they'd want to post their phone numbers over chat, though, just in case creepers are in the chat.
Like that goddess Zilla,
Yeah, don't post it in chat because of me. I'm just kidding. I won't stalk. I don't stalk.
If anything happens to me, you have Natalie's number.
Okay, you don't want me to have your friend's phone number? That's fine, whatever. This is
No,
Karen.
I don't, because I'm tired of you always being the cool mom and stealing all my friends.
Yes, thank you all for coming. We are all going to go do our own thing.
She left!
Everyone have a good weekend.
Alright. Oh, well, and then there was me. Alright then. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I'm sorry about all the technical difficulties at the beginning of this. We will be back tomorrow with some Overwatch.